It is an absolutely gorgeous day here in the beautiful state of Texas today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We have some very, very, very exciting news. We also have some very, very unfortunate news. First though, we have to go somewhere and we have to take this. Wow, this is kind of hard with one hand. She is all safe and snug. We almost have all the parts that need to be powder coated. And speaking of, I'm so excited. We have partnered with a powder coater for this Mustang build so we can get all these parts looking nice and shiny. We're going to pick a color right now. If you've been following along with the build, you already know what color we're going with. We are powder coating the intake manifold, valve covers, pulleys, intake. A few other things are going to be gold, so it's going to look really, really sweet in an all blacked out car. We have to pick out the color of gold though. There's a couple different options. I want to make sure we choose the right one, so I'm going to let y'all help me decide. If you want to help decide what color gold to use, there's a link in the description. Go check out on Instagram. I'm going to have a poll up there. We are going to get to the Mustang news a little bit later. We're going to go ahead and take care of this. It is kind of unfortunate. I don't think it's going to set us back. It might though. We've run into some complications, things that I know now that I didn't know then. I've learned a lot, and this is part of that learning process. Thankfully though, I think it's gonna be okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JPArmor Coatings, where we are getting all of our stuff powder coated. First off, we got to choose a color. So I brought with me the upper intake that y'all saw. Now here's a few options. This is kind of what I'm leaning towards on the gold that we're gonna be using for this. Valve covers, pulleys, and a whole bunch of other parts along the way. So let me know what you think. I'm really kind of digging this gold, or should we go something else like purple, blue? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But as of now, I think we're going with this. There's also an option like that. So many choices. So help me out, guys. Should we stay with gold? Should we do one of those two colors? Should we do a different one? Or should we switch it up all in all and do a complete 180 and go with like a blue, purple, red, something like that? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you are in Texas, you're in the area, you have to go check out JPArmor Coatings. It's seriously one of the best places to go get your car parts or truck parts coated. I know the truck is going to be next. We're doing a full suspension next summer, and you best believe all of that is going to be coated. So if you want to check them out, there's a link down in the description. Don't miss out. Get your ride the way it deserves to be. I'm going to take you guys inside so you can see some of the work. I gotta say is outstanding. Also, maybe we'll look at a few more colors. It's probably a bad idea because I might end up changing my mind. Just take a look at these wheels, guys, and how well everything is done. Also, the wall of colors. This is what I'm talking about. There's way too many options. How are we going to choose? Now, we are doing brake calipers as well when we do the brakes. All these parts are done so nicely. I am so excited to get the Mustang powder coated and looking like a show car. It's going to be a track car too, though. So don't worry. We're taking a few different samples of gold with us so we can kind of think about it. I'll show you back home on some other parts, and we can kind of make a decision. But I'm hoping this week we can get our pulleys in so we can start getting stuff powder coated, which would be pretty dang sweet. Now, before we get on to what's wrong with the Mustang build, let's look at these colors in a different light. So here's kind of the options. I hope you can see that. Different options of gold we're thinking of. This one, I'll be honest, that's my favorite, I think. So let me know, out of those, which one would you choose? We have parts coming in this week, and hopefully like next week or the week after we can have some powder coated parts on the Mustang. Now on the Mustang, I don't really know where to begin. We have some slightly bad news regarding the car, some plans that were like the foundation of the Mustang build. Some stuff has to change a little bit. Now, if you've been following along with the Mustang build, you'll know that comp stage 3 cams, the XE270s, have been like a foundation, a building block for this motor. Unfortunately though, they're not going to happen. There's a few very important variables that are coming into this decision to not do the comp stage 3 cams. First of all is this issue right here, the lift. Now, comp stage 3s are very aggressive cams, which is awesome for sound and awesome for performance, but it's not awesome for a Mustang stock bottom end, and that's the issue we're having. We don't really want to replace the pistons or the rods or the bottom end of this motor because of, budget standpoint. Unfortunately, with these cams, there's a chance, not for certain, there's a chance we could run into PTV issues. Now, if you don't know what that is, I didn't either before this week. PTV issues are piston to valve clearance issues. Now basically what happens is the cam lobe presses down on the valve and the piston can end up slapping the valve. You can imagine that's not a good thing. We do have the comp beehive springs, the retainers, everything to do this right. However, there is still a chance that it could go wrong. We're gonna degree the cams like we should. If you don't know what degreeing is, I didn't know what it was before this week either, but we were gonna degree the cams. However, we would have to retard the timing on the cams. We'd be losing power, and it's not worth it to me to put all this money in the motor, all the time you guys have spent with me, up to chance at some piston and valve clearance issues, and all of a sudden we're pulling the motor again because we blew it up. With that being said though, it's not all bad news. Thank you to American Muscle. I think it was Greg at American Muscle. We are actually getting these exchanged for comp stage 2 cams, the XE268s, which is a 500 lift cam, which means no problems at all. We're still going to use the springs. We're going to degree them, time it right. We're going to be able to get the most power out of this setup. It's not going to have as big a lope at idle, but it's still going to have that really cool American Muscle sound, which is what we're going for. And honestly, I do think that we are still going to be around that goal, that target of 300 to 350 wheel horsepower, all said and done, when we factor in that Typhoon intake, the AccuFab throttle body, a few other parts that we have going on. I think we're still going to be able to make it. It might be a little tight, but we got this. Now, with all of that into consideration, the new cams, the cam debacle we're in, next week we should have all the parts at least ordered. The week after that, we should hopefully have every part that we need to build this motor, which means by early, we're gonna go with July, early July, we could be driving the Mustang again. I know it seems like it's too good to be true, but I think we can do it. We can do it. Okay, back on the subject of powder coating, guys, look at this. This is the AccuFab upper plenum elbow thing and throttle body. Look how awesome that is gonna look in gold. I absolutely cannot wait. Huge shout out again to JPArmor Coatings for partnering with us, the Covert Garage, to get this going. This is gonna be a stunning car when it's all said and done. We're gonna try to break the internet, the Mustang internet, but we got a long time coming. Also, I cleaned up our transmission so it looks a whole lot better. I was gonna paint it. I'll be honest though, I'm not feeling that, and nobody's gonna see it, so we're gonna leave it like it is. We do do some painting under the hood though, clean up a few scratches and stuff so it looks really nice. But we are coming along with this build. This motor, it's gonna put me through it, but we're gonna get it done. In other news on the truck, if you remember, I put a new front drive shaft in 2 days ago, and it's squeaking like crazy. And the thought of crawling under there right now pains me, so we're leaving that till like tomorrow. But the truck is squeaking so terribly, it pains me. I hate listening to it. It's a 2-day-old drive shaft. 2 days. Before I let you guys go, I want to give you kind of the rundown on the timeline and some things we have to do to get ready. Now on the intake, you'll notice this is a polished aluminum intake. However, it's not quite as polished as it once was, and it's not quite the level of our throttle body, which can be a problem when it comes to putting the gold down. So we're going to do our best to polish this intake manifold up. Whether we can do it or not is yet to come. If we can't, then it has to be sandblasted and then chrome powder coated, and then the gold goes on top of that. So it's really confusing thing, but when it's all said and done, regardless of what we have to do, it's going to turn out really nice. Again, huge shout out to JPArmor Coatings. I'm so excited. If you want to get your own stuff powder coated, there is a link down in the description. They are truly the best shop around to go to. And with that, make sure you let me know which gold you want. Y'all already know which one I want. There's a lot of different options. The next build, we might try something a little more out there, kind of out of my comfort zone, but that's for in the future a little bit. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited for this build. I hope you are too. This is going to be such a big learning experience for you, but it's going to be so remarkable when it's done. It's going to be so awesome to share the car with you guys. But until then, y'all keep crushing it, and I'll see y'all very soon.